back to my channel Brainy Bunch. In this video, we are going to discuss regarding the functions in Python, how they can be created or declared or defined in our programs in order to use the functions. First thing is, let us consider the definition of function. In Python, function is a named sequence of statements that belong together. Their primary purpose is to help us organize the programs into chunks. Chunks are nothing but small parts that match how we think about the solution to the program. Let us consider we are working upon a problem statement like something counting and an average. That in the sense we are going to add up all the elements and then the average. So for this problem statement, I am going to consider of totally two two segments or two steps. The first step in the sense I need to add up all the elements in my list or dictionary or any list or tuple anything. And in the second step, I need to calculate the average of the sum of the all the elements. So these are the two steps I need to implement in my program. So let us consider of adding up of all the elements in my list or tuple is to be a function 1, and average that I need to calculate from all the sum of the elements is of function 2. So these functions 1 and 2 can be implemented in my program by using a keyword called def, and with the use of def we are going to create a functions in Python that can be effectively used in our programs. Whenever you create a function in your program, it is to be declared only once, and that you can run that program or function n number of times to get your results. So this is one definition of a function. Let us see some advantages of using functions right here. Reducing a duplication of code. And the second one is decomposing a complex problems into a simpler pieces. As we had discussed one example that I had said that sum and average of number of elements. 1 and 2 elements itself includes, it's very easy to calculate the sum and average. But for an n numbers of sum and average, we need to definitely consider the steps or segments that in order to get the average of the sum of the elements in my list. So I had taken two functions. Function 1 is to calculate the sum of the elements, and function 2 is to calculate the average of sum of all the elements in my list, and improving the clarity of the code. So let in the sense for n numbers, it is to be taken in a whole program or it's in a sequential way. It is just like sequential, that is 1 to n statements would be upon the same line, but whenever you try to use it in a function, it would be in a different manner when we consider our sequential statements and our functions in Python. So let us take an example in understand the functions in Python, how they can be created or defined or declared, how the data could be passed to the functions, as we can pass parameters to the functions in order to get our results. And the last and final is information hiding. As we all know that information hiding is an object oriented principle. So let us see first sentence in functions in Python. A function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. So from these statements we are clear that whatever the function that you had created or declared, we need to call explicitly. For example, everyone has an unique name. In the same way, functions has to be some unique names while declaring. So from the second statement, defined once and can run many times. As I had said that the function that you declared in your program is to be constant or of only defined once and can run many times. So from this statement, we are clear that we can declare once or create once, and that can be used many number of times. The third one is may or may not give results. That depends upon you. Whatever the input you had provided to your functions, or some print statement that you written your function, it depends upon how the way we have taken the functions in the program. So let us see how the functions to be declared. I am taking a Jupyter notebook here for a change, or else you may use your IDLEs like PyCharms, VI editors, or itself via Wish. So let me take, this is a Jupyter notebook. I had taken Python 3. So let me declare, as I had said that functions are to be declared with the keyword called as def. I am going to give a name to my function. That is my function. In order to look effectively, I am using an underscore. And colon is to be used in Python. So this is the declaration of function in this Python. So def my function. Here, while declaring a function, definitely you have to mention, for example, let me say you syntax first. We are going to see syntax right now. Def and any function name that depends upon you, or else we can take the function name according to your program. So we need to add some statements that may be computing or else print statements, etc. Whatever you want to do right here, you can write it in the indentation block of function name. So this would be the syntax of a def function name. The statements are to be indented inside the function. So this was the syntax. Let me declare a function now. Def my function. So here you need to write your statements like computing, print statements, or some results that you need to get from the definition of a function. So here, for the first time, I am declaring the my function in order to show you that how it to be get executed. I am using pass. Pass is used in order just the interpreter assumes that there is nothing yet there. Even we also know that there was nothing right there to execute or print the statements, but this pass is used whenever you want to modify your function in the future, or else you may add your statements like print statements or computational statements in the future, because we have no idea when we are having many number of functions and under which function we are going to write which one is to get a bit tough. So in the situation of many functions, we can use a pass in order to pass for now and get executed successfully without any errors. Let us see. So it has executed successfully. I had declared my function, my function. So let me, as I had said that we need to call the function that you had created explicitly. So now I am going to modify my function like print brainy bunch. I'm going to write the statements brainy bunch. As I had said that we need to call my function. So my function at the outside the block of my function. So let me run this. So it has successfully given me the output as brainy bunch. So this is the declaration of function in Python. Okay. Now let us see passing a parameters or arguments to my function. Like let us consider def my function. I need to add two elements. So I am going to take a comma b and final semicolon. Next one, I need, as I had said that I need a comma b. So I am taking another variable like c and performing an addition of these two numbers. And then even we can print the value right here. I'll show you the next method too. First of all, let us see this. So while calling the function explicitly, we need to pass the parameters or arguments that we had declared in the function. So I had taken the two variables called a comma b. So I would like to pass two parameters or argument. So let me run this to get the addition of two numbers. So it has given me the output as 3. So for example, suppose you had forgotten to pass the parameters to a explicitly called function, then the error would rise definitely, because as you had promised it to the interpreter that I will give you the two parameters to my function in order to compute the value of c. But you had not followed the promise that you have given to the interpreted. So it has raised an error called type error because you did not missing two required positional arguments. So I did not pass the parameters like 1 comma 2 or 3 comma 4. So it has given me a type error. Whenever you declared any parameters in your function, any variables in your function, you need to pass them compulsory whenever you explicitly call the function outside the block of function. So it has given me the output as 5. So this is a simple example of my function or functions. So this is the way we are going to create our functions in Python. Def, function name, the statements like computing, print statements, etc. So let us see the next one, whatever you are having after function declaration. So as I had said that we can even pass the data known as parameters into a function. A function can also even return data as a result. As in the previous one, I have shown you the print statement, but I did not shown you how the function would return. So in the place of print statement, simply I am going to replace the one as return C. So whenever you are trying to return the value from your function or block of code, we need to write a catch here. That in the sense, we need to provide a place to catch the value of C from the function. So I'm going to write my explicit function call into a print statement. That here print statement acts as an holder. Whenever someone throws a ball to you, definitely you need someone there to be to catch the ball. So here in the same way the return statement works as whenever the function returns a value, there should be any holder to catch it. Whether you can declare a variable separately or else you can write it simply in a print statement. So let us see. So it has given us 5. Generally I did not modify any logic there, just I'm going to return my value from the function and how the return value from the function is to be catched to the print statement. So here the return is executed successfully. So return I had shown you, a function can return data as a result. What is the output that I got from the C is just pass it to the print statement. Okay, and this is the first example I have shown you that function definitions cannot be empty and they should not be empty compulsory, it should be noted. But if you some reasons if you need to leave the place, just don't leave the place it as empty, write it as pass. In the future you may edit your function by adding some new statements. As I had said that parameters or arguments that can be passed to the function, someone would say the parameter or argument, it's in the when compared to a normal program, parameters or arguments, it's of nothing, both are in the same form. But when you compare to a form of functions perspective, the parameter is a variable listed inside the, let me move it my screen, or else let me change, wait 1 second. Okay, in order to show you in a single line, I had reduced my font size. So a parameter is a value listed inside the parenthesis in the function definition. So in the sense, whenever I am declaring my function, I used to keep an open parenthesis as you observed here in the syntax like. So this I am going to say to you, in the open parenthesis, I had given two variables called a comma b. So here they are saying that the a comma b are called as a parameters while declaring in the function. So let me type here to understand clearly. My function of a comma b are the two parameters. This is used, these a comma b are known as parameters because they are used while declaring a function. Next, see what was the argument, right? An argument is a value that is sent to the function when it is called. So as I am saying that we need to call the function explicitly with a sufficient number of parameters that you had declared in your function. So for example, 1 comma 2. And these are the actual arguments that I am passing to my function is known as 1 comma 2. So this is the perspective in the terms of functions when we consider parameter or arguments. These are known as positional arguments. These are known as actual arguments. And in the more terms, we can call them as formal arguments and actual arguments, as you have seen in C and C++ while passing the arguments. So as I had said that passing a parameters to a created function, and we can also add some default parameters value while declaring a function. Okay, let us see how can we assign some default values to a function. So this is the thing. Okay, let me define another function, def my function 2, and this is the function of second. Okay, a comma b. I'm giving some default values to b equal to 7. So I had already given the value b equal to 7, and now I'm going to compute the values of a comma b, and I want to return it. So obviously I would place a holder to catch the value from the given function 2. As I had said, the default values can be assigned while declaring a function itself. So here we need to pass just a single value because I had already assigned a 7 to the variable b. So let us see. So it has given me output as 8. Because the default value 7 it has taken to compute the value of b. Because I did not pass any other extra values, only one variable I had passed, that one is assigned to a. And even you can pass the value of b itself. Let's see what would happen. So it has taken 3 as local. Whenever you come into a situations of local or global, it gives a priority of a local. Whenever you call the function with the local parameters, it omits the value of 7 and takes the value of 3 and return to us the actual output. So this is the difference of default values. And this also completed to us default values. Return values, I had shown that return is the one that is used to return the values. And the next one is, suppose you want to write a program, as I had said that n numbers. That is, I need to use many numbers in my function to calculate the sum. So in that situation, I may use the term called as args. Args is the one that is used to take n number of parameters or arguments, whatever I had given to you. So I am going to compute, let us see, print star args. I will say to you why I had taken the print statement. So now I need to call my function explicitly, my function 3. Now star args, in the sense, these are known as a keyword arguments or something. Whenever you try to use a function in your program, you might had no idea about how many parameters are you going to pass your function, or how many arguments you are going to pass to your function. In that situation, simply you can take this star args in order to pass n number of parameters. That is, how many of the parameters you need, you can pass those many of arguments in your function. So let me consider 1 comma 2. Let us run this. So it has given me when I try to print the star args, it has given me 1 comma 2. This itself includes that how many arguments you had passed to your original function, those many numbers are returned in the form of same way. I can even pass n number like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Now itself, it has also given directly that whatever the numbers I had passed to the my function 3, those all the numbers I had got exactly as an output. And this is the type of star args, and it would return generally in the form of a tuple. And star, this is known as n number of parameters passing. That is, in the sense, while you have no idea that how many arguments you are going to pass, in that case you can use this star args. Here itself complete our sessions regarding a functions in Python, and declarations, written statements, pass keyword. By using a pass keyword, you can edit your function in the future. This is the end of our session.